day.
There you go.
You might find me up on the bayou or over in the ocean bay.
Got it.
I'll be fishing on a mountain street or a lake down in Tennessee. Might as well grab your fishing pole. Come and
Oh,
go
it's 2 of them. I got 2
along
of
with
them.
me.
Holy cow, look at you.
We going fishing for a ain't we a lucky dog?
Oh, my, look at that. They're both good.
We going fishing, Jimmy, ain't we a lucky
You're bragging about your big
dog?
fish.
Oh.
There we go, girl.
Always like that, Jimmy. Hey.
There you go. There's a little fish. That pow stick. Come here, baby. Fishing Lake Caroline today. That fish feels pretty nice. Nice little 2-pounder. He's pulling. Lake Caroline in Alabama, and I'm fishing with Jay Matthews, a buddy of mine who is a fishing coach. Now, he's actually a coach and athletic director. Golly, he ate that thing, didn't he? Look how deep he's got that. At Briarwood Christian Academy in Birmingham. My goodness, I may have to do surgery on him, Jay.
That's awesome.
He's not too bad. If I had my barb smashed down, that would turn out of there very easily. It's, like I said, it's going to turn out pretty good, I think. It just let him get it a little too deep. I felt him hit it. Why in the world I didn't go ahead and set the hook, I don't really know. That's a good way to start, though.
Sure is.
We're going to catch him bigger than that, I bet.
There he goes.
We've actually thrown 2 or 3 baits this morning. We tried a little RC Sticks jerk bait. I tried an American Original deep smoothie. Throwed a spinner bait a little bit. And you throwed what, a jig and a little, you got a little drop shot on right now?
Yep.
We tried 4 or 5 different baits, and I finally picked up my rod that had that pow stick on it and throwed it out there. And this is the way you fish it. It's a lot of skill in fishing this bait. Holy cow.
Up and then inside
The geese. We are being attacked by the geese.
It is a pretty morning out here.
It's unbelievable.
And this is your first time here.
The first time I fished Lake Caroline, but it is an incredibly beautiful place and a beautiful lake. And I know y'all have caught some really big fish here, Jay. So,
This has been a great, we call it our catching lake for our team.
it's a great educational tool for you, isn't it?
It is.
For the kids, you know, really.
No doubt.
Bonus, you just get to come play with them.
Yeah, that's it's a great sport to coach because you actually get to play along with them instead of just watching them.
Well, you could play along with them in football still, but you wouldn't be too good at the end of the day, would you?
No, I lost. Those years are long gone by.
That's the great thing about fishing is that you can do it forever. You know, the other sports you outgrow.
That's right.
Or you out age, I guess you might say, but you never out age fishing. You can do it forever.
And then they don't fire you when you don't catch fish on the fishing team.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, something swimming around with my bait. I'm talking and something is swimming around with my bait in its mouth.
Pulling good.
Yeah, he's a pretty little fish. Oh, look at that. I love them in clear water. This pow stick, this Lucky Strike pow stick is one of the best baits in the world you can throw in clear water. It's one of the best baits in the world you can throw when it's calm, like what we're fighting today out here. Mm-hmm. And it'll catch all sizes of fish. It'll catch little tiny fish. It'll catch the biggest fish in the lake. And it takes absolutely no skill to fish it. I've got it rigged weightless. You can put a little weight on it. You can put a little swivel up here ahead of it. Some people do to give it a little bit of better action so it spins a little bit when it falls. Mostly all it does is fall. I mean, mostly it just goes out there and it just falls. And it's that's probably the trick behind it, is that it falls very, very slowly, very, very, very slowly. And sometimes you don't even know when the fish gets it. Sometimes you'll feel just a little bit of tick. I didn't feel anything then. I just looked and my line was not where it was supposed to be. I got one.
There you go.
It's a little better fish here. That's a little better fish.
There you go.
I saw him come up and get it. I looked back there at that one that you had on that drop shot. I looked at one you had on that drop shot, and I stopped that bait right there. And when I stopped it, he just come out of nowhere and got it.
That's a pretty fish.
Ah, looks nice to me. Come here, baby doll. Come here, baby doll. Looky how he's barely hooked. Like this coming up and grabbing hold of the end of that bait.
Yes, sir.
Looky there. But even though he's barely hooked, you know, he's hooked in exactly the right spot. Looky there, it's hard to get him unhooked even. That's the way you want him right there. But that's the reason that I've been losing some of them on that jerkbait also. Ooh, that's a pretty fish right there.
Pretty color.
My big dog.
This portion of Jimmy Houston Outdoors has been brought to you by Mercury Marine. Go boldly. Jimmy Houston Outdoors, America's favorite fishing show, is brought to you by Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time. By Mercury Marine, go boldly. By Soft Science, supreme comfort footwear for the angler. By Shell Rotella, the engine oil that works as hard as you do. And by Super Start Batteries, available exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Oh, there he is. I'm just winding that little bass grabbed it. Pretty in that clear water. Pretty in that clear water. Yeah, I'd already worked it out of there and just started winding like a crankbait, and he hit it. That's one of the things that you got to realize in bass fishing is that, you know, you think you have it figured out and you can figure out all kinds of things. There's no doubt about it. And what you want to do is duplicate whatever works. But there's lots of different things that'll work at any given time, and bass tournaments prove that. The other thing is that the fish are constantly changing all the time, so you never know. More than likely, if you just throw that crankbait out there and wind it back in, you're not going to get too many bites. Just about every bite's going to come on the stop. But that's one of the reasons that when you throw it out there and you start winding it back in, you want to wind it at a speed that you might catch a fish because you might. But, good fish. Well, he's got that little worm down deep in his mouth.
He sure does. In fact, I didn't feel him bite.
He ate it. He ate it. You bet. You bet.
He's down in there.
Isn't it amazing? It was calm and beautiful, just an incredible morning to be out. And we couldn't hardly get any bites. We tried a lot of different baits, and once that wind started blowing, all of a sudden we became better fishermen. I mean, he ate it. You get him?
I did.
Good deal.
Should be good.
Fish.
There you go.
Come here, guy. Where are you on that? Got that one on that ringmaster. He's a pretty nice fish. Push the button on that guy. Push the button on that guy. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, buddy. I like that. I like that. Come here, sugar booger.
Pretty color on it too.
Come here, baby doll. Come over here and see me.
Nice.
Yeah, buddy. That old fish he's got something a little wrong with him. He's like me, he's a little skinny. Well, not exactly like me. Yeah. That fish but it's a pretty fish and a big fish. I like it. You know, you hear them talking about critter baits, and I'm not sure exactly why they name them critter baits. This particular one right here is a Lucky Strike ringmaster, and they call them a critter because they don't really look like anything that I know of that swims around in the lake. But then nothing swims around looks like a spinnerbait either. So, but you know, they're all kinds of different shapes, but they're mostly flat type baits with a lot of tails on them. You see, it's got little curly tails, two little flappers down here, got little arms up here on the front like a little man bait. But that's a ringmaster critter bait. But I think the fish thinks it's a crawfish. I mean, just that simple.
Jig bite.
Did you get that one on?
Jig, just on the
jig.
Yeah, just in the brush right there.
Yeah, that's a nice fish. Yeah, that's a nice fish. Yeah, baby, I like that.
It's a fun bite.
I like that. You know, Jay, being an athletic director and fishing coach, it's a pretty good job to get to go work out. Let's say. Let's go work out, guys. Where are we going to work out? We're going to work out at the lake. That's
right.
a pretty good job, isn't it?
I can't complain. I'll tell you that.
And you know, you get to work with good kids, too, for the most part, don't you? I mean, just about every one of them. Good kids.
This portion of Jimmy Houston Outdoors is brought to you by Jimmy Houston Extreme Energy. Jimmy's Look Back is brought to you by Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time.
Gone past it. He's moving it.
All right,
he's moving.
Yeah, he's moving it. All right, you got it.
All
right, yeah, we got it. Yeah, we got it.
That's on that big perch. Does that feel like
that
pretty
was on
good?
that big live perch, yeah.
That could be a good fish. Of course, them tomcat we've been catching eat live perch that size down there probably too.
He feels like he's got a little more weight, but
could be one of them big gulls.
No, it's probably another one of those 4-pound blues, which they're nice, Jimmy. I'll tell you what, I'll catch them all day long.
Jump back behind that car.
Who can complain about 4-pound blue cats?
I guarantee you who can complain. Especially when you fry them up with taters and onions.
Oh, man.
Doggies.
Great, boy. This is fun winding those babies in.
Where's your fish? I don't see your fish. Oh, there he is. Yeah, it's the smallest one of all, and he was on the perch. Look at how he's got that line slimed up. Look how he's got that line slimed up. You're gonna have to hold still for me to get hold of you, bud. Now that just shows to go you that you never know.
Right in front of that gate is where they're at.
They really are. You get your bait in
we've got
there.
a hit every time we've drifted in front of that gate.
You know, a catfish that size, that's a 2-pound catfish, has a hard time pulling a quart jug under, I guarantee you that for a fact. But that's a nice fish right there. That is a nice fish. Ready to go? I got him good.
All right.
How's that looking there?
Looking better down there. Look at that. Looking better. Looking better.
Sure is.
Looking
pretty,
better.
isn't it?
Oh, that's beautiful.
All right.
Are you going?
I think he's got it.
Oh, yeah.
You got it?
Yep. Got him. Got him. Got him. Oh.
Jimmy's Look Back has been brought to you by Ranger Boats.
That'll work. Put that guy by. There's another one. A little chunk too.
Pretty.
He's going crazy, isn't he? That's a nice chunky fish. Not as big as that one I just lost. Now, Jimmy, we've heard that before. Don't start that nonsense. We've heard that before. The big one got away. He's trying to hook me right now is what he's trying to do. I'm not going to let him do that. In fact, if he will be really, really nice, I will unhook him. That's what I will do. Yeah. We've tried several different baits this afternoon. We hit a lull. Jay and I have hit a period of time where, that's a good chunk right there, where we've not been able to catch many fish, and so we're trying to jerk bait, and I got a couple on that big 10-inch baby Huey worm, and I put my old favorite on. This is the American Original with a red eye, deep smoothie in a red ear color, and I got a really nice fish on it a second ago. It looked like about 3 pounds or so, and it came off. And then another 4 or 5 throws, and I get that nice one on there. So we'll see if we figured something out on that crankbait for this afternoon. The fish are moving in on this riprap, I'm telling you.
You're right.
They're getting on this riprap. That's the one they're feeding on.
That's right. I want to catch the one that's after this one.
Me too. There's one. Nice fish too.
Nice.
Yeah, that little deep smoothie's getting a hold of them. Yeah, baby. You got wind coming into that riprap. That's a pretty good deal. Oh, nice fish. Good fish.
Nice fish.
Come here, baby doll. Come on up here with me. He says, okay, Jimmy, I'll come right on up there with you. You'll get this bait out of my face. And Jimmy said, by golly, I'll do that. I will. Maybe. How did they ever get off of them is what I don't understand. Oh, gotta hold tight when they do that. Because if that pops out of your hand, into your hand, nice fish right there.
Good fish, Jimmy.
Yes, sir. Ooh. You know, I'm fishing that smoothie a lot of different speeds, and that's one of the key things is to really change speeds in a crankbait. One of the habits that it's real easy to fall into is just throwing out there and winding that bait in. Especially it's easy to fall into it if you're in kind of a lull period of time where you're not getting many bites and you hadn't had a bite in a while. But you got to remember that you got to work that bait every single time back to the boat. There's one.
There you go.
There, baby. Oh yeah, it's a little bit better fish on them crankbaits. No doubt about it. My little deep smoothie. Hey, that guy thinks he's a giant and he's not. He's not bad. He's pretty good. Oh boy, you're just barely hooked. You're hooked good enough.
Pretty.
Yeah, you're hooked good enough. He's a fat rascal right here.
He's got good color.
Oh, that's a fat one there. That's a good looking fish. He's hooked down below the mouth. The bait's not even in his mouth, not even anywhere close to his mouth. He said, well, what am I doing up here in this boat if the bait's nowhere close to my mouth? It's because I have a superior bait. All you gotta do, whoa, I about hooked myself. That's a pretty fish right there. That's one of the prettiest fishes we caught. Not the biggest fish we caught, but one of the prettiest ones.
Sure is.
How about Sugar Bear?
Oh boy.
Well, you got hold of there.
Where is he? He's coming this
I'm
way.
afraid of.
He's coming under.
I will now. I'll still start it now. And then we'll start the motor right there. Afraid I get your line in it. How big is that fish? Ooh, nice
bad.
fish. Good one. About the same size as that other one. Very nice. They're beginning to bite a little bit with this wind.
Fun.
Nice fish. The wind is helping us a lot, I believe.
Jimmy Houston Outdoors is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. By High Seas, when the money's on the line. By Jackson Kayak, Advantage Fisherman. By Orion Coolers, never lose your cool. And by Lucky Strike, where preparation and opportunity collide. Houston's Helpful Hints is brought to you by Jimmy Houston High-Tech Performance Fishing Rods.
We caught a lot of our fish out here today off riprap. And let me tell you a good rule of thumb about riprap. If you find riprap, fish it, period. Now fish, you can't really depend on fish being on riprap because they come and go. It's one of those places where they move up to feed and then they pull off of it. But if you go by a piece of riprap, stop and fish it no matter what. If you've got wind blowing on the riprap, you're pretty much guaranteed that you're going to catch a fish or two off of it. Sometimes you can change your entire day by just stopping and fishing a little piece of riprap. But I know there's a lot of these lakes that's got miles and miles of riprap, or you're looking at several hundred yards, and just stop and kind of pick out the best places out. If you got a little point coming out, you got a little indention, maybe it's a riprap, and you got the 2 points that on both sides of the bridges there you want to fish. You might want to just fish a little bit of it and see what happens. And but fish every piece of riprap that you get around. Now, what do you want to do in fishing those ripraps? One of the key things you want to remember is as ripraps come out, where the water hits the riprap, that's a junction area where the fish are going to be. So you're going to want to hit as close to the bank as you can. and you want to get a bait that will bump those rocks immediately as soon as it hits. The other junction area is down where the end of the riprap is and meets the rest of the lake. Now that might be 3 or 4 foot out, it might be 8 or 10 foot, it might even be 10 or 12 foot deep depending on the lake that you're fishing. So you want to kind of try to figure out where that is and pick your baits accordingly. A great bait obviously is a crankbait to fish those with. Get in kind of close where you can hit as many rocks as you possibly can. You want to bump, this is like fishing anything else with a crankbait, bump into stuff if you can. And a round bill crankbait, a deep bill crankbait is best because it goes down as it hits. You want it to float back up. You want one that can get a lot of depth and bang into it, but when it gets hung up, you can give it slack and it float backs up. Riprap, rule of thumb, fish it every chance you get.